And so I was just about to pick up the phone and call and say, no, sorry, I can't make it. You know, I was going to say I got sick or something like that. And then a thought came to me, Luana, you're either going to let these traumas continue to rule you, or you're going to rule them. This is an open door. This is a path to a new possibility. If you don't take it because of the trigger, you're giving the trigger more power. And I was insecure. I hadn't recorded anything, you know, so it was like, I was pretty darn vulnerable. And so then I went, okay, I took a deep breath, used some of the trauma techniques I'd already learned about rewiring, refocusing, felt sense, somatic work. And I went, okay. And I called a taxi and I showed up. I played with musicians that I had never played, and it turned out beautiful. And then he offered me to make my own CD, use the studio time and help me to produce it. And so there's the result. There's the result of not letting the triggers take me and using my will and using the knowing of the power and capacity to change. So now I have 2 sound healing CDs that I've produced because I didn't let the trigger rule me. I used the flute playing to heal me, and then it became something to heal somebody else. And this is the journey. This is the journey of harnessing that power and the capacity, using the tools, bringing them out of theory into practice. And then the gifts that they bring is incredible. So because of that, I then got invited to perform at a performance at a leading space here in Vancouver, the Roundhouse Theatre. And then I got invited to play to more performances, Rumi performances. And then, you know, it just kept growing, and I opened my own studio, and there were many other challenges that came in too later on. But with each one, I remembered, okay, I have a say in this. I don't have to let the trigger take me over. And let me create something through the trigger. I did jewelry making. I developed a movement therapy. This was huge. The same year as the CD, I was on my sofa crying again one day. And then I thought, well, what do I want to do? And the thought came to me, well, I want to do something that helps people feel good about themselves so that they can start their day in a good way with their authentic nature through movement and dance. And so I borrowed a friend's computer, and I've gathered music from around the world. I have God knows how many cassettes and CDs. And so the idea was to start with a slow pace where people just sort of breathing and getting in their body, and then to accelerate into beautiful percussion, and then to come back to stillness. And so I made 32 playlists, so 32 classes using my music like that. So slow to fast, fast to slow. And then I rented a yoga studio, and I danced each class. I would meditate and I prayed, and I said, okay, what is the quality of experience and resonance that this music is activating in me? Because sound and dance, those are the 2 primal healing tools. This is what humanity has done forever, right? And each music invokes a certain quality of feeling in us. And so I did that for 32 classes, and then I developed my movement therapy method, my expressive dance method, which I taught successfully in Vancouver for 3 years. That was the fruit of my despair and my depression. The CD, the music, was the fruit of my despair and my depression and my anxiety and all of these things. So instead of letting the triggers and the traumas, and the whole way I felt I wasn't worthy, the whole way I felt I wasn't enough, you know, I was meeting those voices